All right. Hello and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from. Thanks so much for joining us for this kickoff of the second annual virtual ML.net hackathon. So this is the second time that we're doing it. I think we had one back in 2020. And so, that was really successful. We had a lot of engagement, a lot of participation. So we're really happy to just have another one. But before we get started, my name is Luis. I am a content developer at Microsoft, working on documentation for ML.net, .NET for Apache Spark, as well as Azure Machine Learning. And with me here is my co-host, John Wood, who you may know from the community. He's very active as well. So, John, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm a software developer, and occasional YouTube creator. And I've been helping on the docs some too.
Yeah, we're talking about those in just a little bit. But yeah, you've been super helpful and and just integral to making sure that our docs are up to date. Folks, they read the docs and want to make sure that they have the most up to date information and are able to be successful when building ML.NET applications. And that's going to be part of that here, which is going to be building applications, whether it's with ML.NET or adding on to ML.NET. We'll go through some of potential projects that you may want to work on during this hackathon. All right, so let me go ahead and pull up the screen here to kind of walk you through what's going to be happening over the next couple of days. So first and foremost, we have this repository here, at the virtual MLNet user, and it's Hackathon 2021. Let me see if we have that here in the banner. I guess not, but John, maybe you can paste it into the chat while I'm going through this here. So folks can actually join it. But anyway, you want to go head on over to GitHub/virtualMLNet/hackathon-2021. And that's going to give you access to this repository that we're looking at here. Okay, so first and foremost, we have the dates of when and where. First of all, where you are joining us here virtually. We know that we have folks all over. All right, so this event is fully virtual, not in person. So it doesn't matter where you are. We're happy to have you join us. When exactly it's going to be happening? It's going to be happening starting today. So we'll actually, kind of today, we actually had a kickoff earlier. We had some of our, other folks from the community and MVPs. We had Arafat and JK, who actually kicked it off for folks over in the UK, Australia time zones. And they did an awesome job, sort of going over basically what we're going to be going over here with you. So that was the first kickoff. But, the way that the dates and times line up, it's basically going to be happening around this time here. Okay, so now that we know that's virtual and when it's going to be happening, November 12th to the 19th, how exactly do you get started? Well, the first thing you might want to do is go on over to this Discord channel. So go ahead and click here. It should send you to an invite, which will then launch you into the community here. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and do that because I'm already part of it, but you would just go through that. Maybe I can actually pull it up here in just a second. Just make sure.
And I would say the Discord is probably going to be the best resource for questions or anything out there too.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me see here. We have a few channels. Let me go on over and move this here. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, so basically it's going to be the community, right? Going to be this general channel and the hackathon channel as well. So you can see the chat's been going as well. So you can join and just participate on there. So whether you run into issues or you just have questions or whatever it may be, the Discord, as John mentioned, is going to be the best place for you to go ahead and sort of connect with folks. So yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so that's going to be the first thing. So go ahead and join the Discord channel, and that's going to be the main form of direct communication. And then the next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and create a project. Okay, so when you create a project, all it's going to do is it's going to take you into this template here to submit your idea. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to replace this title here with the name of your idea. And we'll show you some examples later on of what this might look like. You're going to go ahead and, again, just hackathon idea, fill this with your idea, your name, if that's something you'd like to provide, team name if you want to have a fun team name, and a brief description of what it is that you're trying to solve. Now, this is going to help folks who may want to participate with you and who may want to, join your project. Maybe somebody finds your project interesting and want to help you out. Which actually you're going to also let folks know that by checking this box here. So, are you looking for team members? So, if you go ahead and check yes, that's going to signify or indicate to folks like, hey, we're looking for help. We're looking for contributors. Come join our team. Right. So the description and this, whether you're looking for team members, are extremely helpful to let others know what exactly you're looking to do and if you're looking for help with these. So in terms of what these might look like, you see they have some submissions already. There's this one here from Dio, and here's the description, right? Make something like torch data sets on torch sharp. And just a description here. I guess no team name. In this case, that's okay. And then in terms of other, just added this, that they are looking for team members. So if you're interested in, working with Dio on this, they're looking for team members. We have other submissions here. We have this one talking about, let's see, basically finding a better way to save and print and just display model metrics. And this one is also looking for contributors and team members. So again, this is more or less what it's going to look like. And again, it's just a way of letting folks know, here's what we're thinking of doing, and we're also looking for help. So let's go back here to the repo. Okay, so we mentioned very briefly what the dates were for this. But John, do you want to go in a little bit more detail what the schedule is going to look like over the next few days?
Yeah, so we're pretty much kind of kicking it off right now, but go ahead welcome to get started right now. Go ahead and create a project and all that, or ask questions or anything that you need to do. And you have pretty much until the 17th to do your hacking, to work on your project and all that. And it says pretty much the end of the day on the 17th there. And that's where you kind of do your submissions, and we'll go over submissions in more detail in a bit. And then we'll take a couple of days, we'll look at the submissions, and on the 19th, we'll announce our top projects, and we might get some prizes too, some of the top ones.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And just a reminder, we're going to be doing it very much like this format. So just like we're doing the kickoff here, we're going to be doing something similar. We're going to do a stream where we're going to be making that announcement. That's kind of what you see here. Now, the streams, the links there are just going to point you to the channels right now. But eventually, you're going to see something similar to this here. Cool. Okay, so one other thing to mention is, maybe you're thinking like, hey, it'd be really cool to participate. I'm interested in working on something. Maybe I want to dip my toes into ML.net, whatever it may be. If you think that, maybe you don't have the skills or the knowledge to go ahead and create a project, right? We just want to call out that actually one of the top projects last year was somebody who actually never worked with ML.net before. And they put on this really nice an interesting project that dealt with, trying to classify packets as malicious. Mm-hmm. So no experience is really needed. As long as you're, open to learn and willing to participate, you're more than welcome. But that being said, just because, it's your first time, like, it doesn't mean that, there aren't resources out there that can help you get started. John, do you want to talk about some of the resources that are out there that folks who may be just getting started or learning about ML.net may be able to work with?
Yep. So you probably see right there's a Let's Learn ML.net link, and that will take you to that YouTube page there, which is a full 2 hours of going over ML.net, just kind of working with it and how you can use it. And along with that, there is a MS Learn, is it a course, I think? Yeah, and they kind of walk you through some steps on how to use ML.net with the model builder. And those are kind of probably the more recent ones there. But if you go back to the main page on the README, there's some links at the bottom to kind of a workshop that we did last year. And that goes through kind of a bit of a hands-on kind of walk through on how to use ML.net and some of the stuff with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And also there's always the, John, again, he's been doing a really awesome job working on documentation. And there's also the docs as well that you can look into. And if you're looking for specific things, for example, if you're using a code first approach and you're trying to understand like, hey, how do I load my data, right? Because you are going to need data for this. So if you're going with the code first approach, there's a lot of examples here, depending on what the data source and things are. So you can check out the how-to guides. You can also check out tutorials. There's both for Model Builder and the CLI, as well as the API. So there's a lot of options in terms of getting resources. And in addition to this, of course, you can, if something's confusing or you're looking for answers on a particular thing that you may not find through the documentation, the Learn module, the different videos that are out there, definitely check, ping us on Discord, and we'd be happy to help.
Yeah,
cool.
Always happy to help.
What was that?
Always happy to help.
Yeah. Or check out one of John's YouTube videos. If you're more of a visual video person, John has a ton of videos. Let's see. I think we have sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble with my mouse here, but I see we have a question here from Sam Davidson here. Is the deadline to join the hackathon still 2 p.m. Eastern? Yeah, so great question. There actually is no deadline to join. So if you wanted to start, tomorrow or join tomorrow, or if you wanted to join, let's see, when are we going through? The 17th, I believe, right? If you wanted to join on the 17th, right before deadline, you're more than welcome to start off. Obviously we have a deadline for submissions, but in terms of when you can get started, there's really no deadline. We just wanted to sort of we're actually going to go over the rules in a little bit and mention that, but there is no deadline to join, right? So hopefully that answered your question there, Sam. So it actually brings us to a really good, next section here, which is the rules. There's actually not a lot of them. The main one is just to, again, have fun, just learn something, collaborate with folks, meet people, which, hopefully is something that these hackathons sort of help all of you do. Again, anyone is welcome, whether you're new, there's resources out there that, Discord, docs, whatever it may be. You do have to create and register a project. So that is something that you do have to do, just because that sort of officially is like, hey, you're joining this. And people are aware, and maybe you can get contributors as well if you're looking for them. And you must work on new projects. So new projects, meaning that, like, if you started working on something, I don't know, back in like October, and then you're just gonna keep working on it, and you're gonna say this is part of the submission, like that's something that we wouldn't necessarily accept. You can definitely submit it, but we wouldn't take it into consideration as one of like the top projects. But anything starting, whenever this kickoff happened, November 12th, right? When we started this hackathon until the deadline, that's all fair game, right? So that's something special to note there. In terms of, can you join more than one project? This actually came up in the Discord channel, I believe yesterday. It's like, hey, can I have more than one project? And you absolutely can. If you have the time and the bandwidth for it, by all means, you can be on as many projects as you can, but just be aware that obviously the more projects that you're involved in, then chances are that you're gonna have less time to distribute throughout those. But we're not placing any restrictions on that. The other thing is that you must use ML.NET in some part of your project. Now, ML.NET doesn't have to be the only solution, right? But in some way, shape, or form, there must be some involvement, even if it's just for like scoring or making or for inferencing and making predictions. There's got to be some tie in there, right? So that's the only thing to mention there. And of course, we have a code of conduct. Be courteous, be respectful, be kind to others. Treat everybody nicely, so that everybody has this sort of safe and fun environment to collaborate in. Okay, so that's it in terms of the rules. That's pretty much it. So in terms of deliverables, there's going to be two things. One thing is going to be source code, so a link to your project, as well as a 1 to 3 minute video showcasing your solution. So that, just provide a link to it. So this could be like a YouTube link, maybe like a unlisted video, Dropbox, whatever it may be. Just provide a link to that. And again, make sure that they're both publicly accessible, right? Because if it's a private video, and then we can't access it, and we just can't take a look at exactly what you built. There's a sample submission here that you may sort of reference, in case you're wondering what it might look like. It's very similar. It's just a README file that looks very similar to the idea submission. And let me just make sure here. Yep. So in this case, it's take ML.NET to the moon and back, and then you're gonna mention your idea, kind of what you did, a brief description of it. Maybe you can even link to your issue that you created for when you submitted your project or when you submitted your idea for the project. Provide some contact information because we do need some way to contact you, in case we have questions or anything like that. Obviously Discord is going to work as well, but this also helps us contact you directly because oftentimes, with Discord, sometimes you might choose a username that's different than, and information that may be different. So it would be hard to tell that way. In terms of the solution, just talk about what your solution looks like, what it does, and things like that. And then in the video presentation, just provide the link to your video. That could be in Dropbox, Google Drive, whatever it may be. And yeah, so those are the rules. In terms of data sets, if you're looking for data, there's actually a lot of really good resources for finding data sets. UCI, UC Irvine is a really good resource for finding data sets. You have Microsoft Research Open Data. Kaggle is also a really good one. And these open data portals, wherever you may be, chances are that a trend that's been happening over the past few years is governments have been sort of creating these portals for folks to access data, right? And the really nice thing is a lot of those portals, they are real-time data. So that's something that you may want to take a look at as you're sort of diving into this and building it out. For example, if you're in Chicago, maybe you might want to take a look at the Chicago Data Portal. If you're in New Zealand, right, they have one as well, Australia. So wherever you may be, chances are that your government or some sort of entity would have data sets. So that's a really good way to sort of, get started in terms of data. In terms of project ideas, now I will call this out that these ideas are not exactly sort of like the restrictions that we're putting on you. It's just, hey, if you can't really think of something that you might want to work on, these are things that you might consider, right? But again, you're not bound by these. The only bound is like in some way, shape, or form, ML.NET is involved. But things you might want to consider, looking into are contributing directly to the ML.NET repository. Maybe contributing to .NET Interactive to build extensions. So for example, actually, I'm not going to say that because that might give an idea, and I'm not sure if those folks, the folks who are working on metrics, are thinking of doing something like this. So I won't comment on that, but you can contribute to .NET Interactive, right, and build ML.NET specific extensions. MLOps.NET is this really cool project by Alexander, who actually was one of the original organizers of this conference, the conference itself, along with John. And unfortunately he's not with us today, but he built this really cool project called MLOps.NET, which, as you might imagine, it does exactly what it says here. It helps you sort of build out and structure MLOps workflows for ML.NET applications. So that's a really good project to contribute to as well. There's TensorFlow.NET, TorchSharp.NET, as well as all sorts of examples here. And if those are not enough, you could also take a look at the submissions from last year. So there's all of them. And again, if you wanted to take a look at them specifically, here's sort of what the submission looks like, right? And again, there's the code, and then there's the link to the repo. Let's see here. Okay. So that covers project ideas, data sets. There's probably other frequently asked questions that you may have. So you can browse the FAQ here and link to those. There's a lot of information about, again, the times, how to create projects, what types of projects you can work on, and stuff like that. So there's tons of information in terms of recording videos. These are some software that you might use for that. Let's see. But other than that, am I missing anything, John? We went over schedule, resources, how to get started, how to submit a project, how to create a project, rules. I think we covered everything, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. So again, thanks so much for joining us. This, of course, is going to be up. It's going to be recorded, and also JK's. And if we miss anything, I'm sure JK and RFI probably covered it in theirs. So you can also check out that recording as well. And it's going to be on this channel, the Virtual MLNet channel. But other than that, again, thank you. We look forward to your submissions. We, again, are available and happy to help you let's see, damn, it happened. Sorry, I'm just seeing a comment here from Ismail. Yes, Ismail, there's 1 week left. And yeah, so in terms of timeframes, right? Like one of the things that you can do, and reason to chat, of course, encouraging. So that's awesome. One of the things that you might want to do, right, is you could submit it, right? You can have the idea and you can submit it, and if it's not done, like that's okay. You know, so that's okay if it's not done. You can at least start fleshing it out, and of course you can keep working after that. We have the deadline, which is happening, and that's when we'll sort of pick out some of the more complete projects and showcase those and select some of the top projects. But if you just want to start hacking on something, get started learning, you know, by all means, go for it. We certainly encourage it.
I think that's a good point. You don't have to finish your project. You can get started with it and have something out there to submit, and you can keep working on it.
Right. Exactly. And the other thing that I'll sort of call out, right? Like it's these hackathons, they, you know, I'm not sure, Ismail, maybe you have, maybe you haven't been part of the hackathons. Like, but the one thing I'll say is like, you know, it doesn't need to be like the next sort of, you know, $1 billion app, or like, you know, it needs to be super polished or, you know, whatever. As long as you can have like a proof of concept, that's more than enough, right? So because you get proof of concept, the main piece is working, that's fine for these sorts of hackathons, because again, as you mentioned, it is a relatively short amount of time. But yeah, so we look forward to your submission if you're interested. Okay, so with that, if there's nothing else in the chat, we're gonna just sort of, you know, end this. And again, join the Discord, create a project, and looking forward to your submissions. Thanks again, folks. Take care.
Thanks.